Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Naman Jain, who is the Vice Chairman of Silverline Prestige School. Naman has been at the forefront of leading the change in education technology and innovation in the pedagogy of modern classrooms. He is building an inspirational model with the help of Silverline Prestige School of what a future school should look like. As far as accolades go, Silverline is winning the race, with only 6 Google reference schools in India and Silverline being one of them. It's a testament to how dedicated Naman is to building the change in India for modern education.
So what is the school? What should a school look like to build the manpower that is going to build a developed India? So imagine that, and we backtrack everything and we started transforming our pedagogy, and that's when we really realized that technology can come in as a very good boom for providing us with the platform to do all the things that we want to do when it comes to pedagogy and the teaching practices that we follow now. So I was traveling, and I realized that to transform the pedagogy in our school, we really need to have technology as a backbone. We understood that technology has to be implemented. We have to move from pen and paper to completely being digital, right? We started with pedagogy, and before pedagogy we started with technology implementation. We knew that we have to move our entire ecosystem on Google Workspace, and we have to implement Chromebooks, and the devices have to go inside the classes. The teachers have to know how to integrate technology in their daily teaching and learning. How do they use tech tools to improve student engagement?
So I can understand that technology has played a big part in what you have done for Silverline Prestige School. And of course, without technology, the world can't survive anymore. And students and the school is where it starts. So Naman, I would really love to know how the technology in your school has shaped the way students learn, has shaped the way teachers educate in the classroom, and what are some things that you couldn't have achieved without the technology in your classroom?
If you want students of 5 different abilities, one teacher to handle those 5 different abilities, how do you handle it? You have to use tech, right? If there are Chromebooks in the classroom, a teacher could give research work for the students who are ahead in the class for something even of a higher order, and somebody who needs more help, those students could be collaborating together and helping each other and practicing more and more. And the teacher's attention could be really on the students who need absolutely more help. Today, teacher's role has transformed into a role of a facilitator. Rather than giving answers, teacher's role is to ask the right questions. Ask the questions so that the students are forced to think in a class. The students are forced to find their own answers by researching in the class. That's where the tech comes into play.
Completely agree with your answer that teachers are the facilitators in class now. Students are no longer learning in the format where a teacher comes in and gives them information, they retain it and write down in a notebook. And it's amazing how you've been able to do that in Silverline Prestige School. And obviously you have one of the best labs that our team has ever seen. Even one of our video editors, they were completely mesmerized by the way students were learning Blender and Keynote in the classroom. How did you envision that for yourself? How did you realize that you need to have virtual labs, that you need to have certain kind of technologies in the classroom? What was your vision like for the computer and the ICT curriculum that you had in the school?
Another next step, logical step for us, was to completely transform and change the way we taught computers. The students need to truly learn 3 aspects of tech. One is design, second is coding, and third is mechatronics, right? All these tools are age relevant. So for example, somebody who is in grade 3, they would be doing Scratch. and that's coding plus animation. Similarly, a grade 1 would be doing stop motion animation, right? It's a very simple tool. They would do storyboarding using clay and craft work, putting a camera and just doing a building a storyline. Similarly, somebody goes for grade 8. Now they're using Blender and Maya, right? So it's all age relevant. Going 30 years down the line, what a school should look like is the model we are wanting to create.
I mean, I do believe that SLPS is already that model for a lot of schools in Delhi. 30 years down the line is something that you're already doing. We went through your Expression Studio and the Google Workspace presentation that you had. And trust me, Naman, this is something that a lot of schools are not even doing the 10% off. So I do believe that SLPS is now that model for a lot of schools, and kudos for you on that. So I am sure that there might have been a lot of challenges that you faced in the adoption, and a lot of challenges that most school owners face when it comes to technology and adoption of technology in the classroom. How would you describe the ways SLPS overcame these challenges?
In my previous experience, and I would say 90% of education institutions in India still do not have a network backbone, right? And I experienced that from my previous days of a higher education institute, where I would keep on hearing from student fraternity and the teachers कि net नहीं चल रहा. We realized, I made a promise to myself that I will not hear anybody saying कि net नहीं चलता. So I had to, we did a lot of research, ended up spending a lot of time talking to the team in Australia and people here in India. Manish ji were really patient with me in terms of understanding what our needs were, and they designed a beautiful network, and we took good 6 to 8 months of ideation to implementation for the entire network, and I'm so glad that we did. If the 710 did not exist in my network, the buffer wheel could just keep on going and going for all those users in the class. The research goes for a toss. The differentiation goes for a toss. The engagement goes for a toss, because the teacher has no option than to switch back to the old ways. So for me to truly execute great learning to happen, the baseline is the network experience that the people have, right? If my students are connecting with some other school in a Western country, for example, right, and they're doing a collaborative activity together, which is very easy in today's days and time. But if my network is not supporting, if my devices are not working, then that experience will have gone for a toss.
Thank you, Naman, for that wonderful answer. And I'm sure this is not something just schools face. Wi-Fi is now one of the most important things. Any business, any kind of digital environment needs to survive. And I do understand that it's very frustrating to, constantly have your employees and your teachers say कि net नहीं चल रहा है. And thank you again for the shout out to Netoid and Netoid team. But moving on, let's talk about how a school like SLPS functions, and what is that one component that you truly believe that SLPS cannot be what it is today without?
The entire school is dependent on that network. Everything else will fall apart if the network is not stable. So we keep a really, we care a lot for our network, and we are always very sensitive to all the nuances that are happening. Small little tick happens, and we are always observing our network and keeping it safe. And obviously it comes hand in hand with the team, our partners working with the school directly. So both of them, when they come together, we are able to have a very good uptime.
Downtime is truly dangerous. I completely agree with you, because even as an individual, if my Wi-Fi goes down for 1 minute, I become super frustrated because I can't access my mail, I can't text, and everything is dependent on the network. And of course, the schools are moving towards that model where the entire ecosystem is digital, and of course, everything is again dependent on how the network performs. So I truly understand where you're coming from and why the network experience is something you feel the school cannot function without. So, as we know that you are an extremely active member in the education community, you attend a lot of events for Google as well. And so, what is the one advice you would like to give to school owners who are up and coming and adopting technology one step at a time? What is something that they should definitely invest on? What are some things that they should take care of when they are trying to adopt technology in the school?
Network is the first investment that any school should do if they're even thinking of technology. Maintaining a network is like handling a baby. It has to be kept well, it has to be taken care of. There are going to be nuances that one is going to face along the way. Every time we ended up adding a device onto our network would go haywire, right? We loaded IFPDs onto our network. There were just 70 of them for each and every class, and our network was behaving erratically. But we sat down, we worked together, and the team, our partner from the Network community, they really helped us achieve all that, and our network is now back on track. It has to be taken care of, so it can't just be a supply relationship. It has to be a solution that has to be provided. That's very important.
I can't say that I've been inspired by anything like I got inspired.
Come back to school.
Definitely we could. Like if we could, we would definitely love to come back. That was the first response that the one of the video editors that came with us.
Yeah.
The first response when we entered and we saw the students, learning animation and stuff. So these are tools that we are now learning as adults.
Yeah.
That was really inspiring, and we were talking amongst ourselves and we said, काश हम पढ़ सकते हैं, we apply कर लेते हैं. So that was really.
And I think probably that's the generational gap. Probably that you and me won't realize, but we'll realize it later in our lives. But that truly is there, right? Whatever generational gap that we face with our parents is the same that our children are going to face with us. We are going to be dinosaurs for them. Yeah.
Definitely, Naman. Students today are kind of born with a phone in their hand. This is not a generation that we can teach on pen and paper, and definitely not in a way that have been taught to us or the generations before us. They understand audio visuals, they understand technology more than us. So of course we don't want to risk becoming a dinosaurs to the students. We have to teach them in the way that they understand rather than in the way that has been for the long time. And it's truly amazing that you've somehow managed to bridge that gap in Silver Line Prestige School with a lot of research, with a lot of dedicated staff members on your team. And it's amazing to see how things have been working out at Silver Line Prestige School. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. I know that you are a very busy person and you have taken some time out for us to inspire us with your words. I have learned a lot through this session, and I'm sure that the viewers who will be seeing this will be learning a lot on how to run a technology-ready school, a future-proof school in this day and age. Thank you, Naman. Thank you so much.